Mobile phones now penetrate even the most isolated desert settlements, fundamentally altering the power dynamics between enslaved people and their masters in ways that neither side fully anticipated. Smartphones have arrived in the most remote corners of Mauritania's desert regions, creating unprecedented opportunities for enslaved people to document their conditions and contact the outside world. A 17-year-old enslaved girl named Fatima secretly recorded video footage of her daily work routine using a phone borrowed from a sympathetic neighbor. The footage shows her carrying water for 18 hours straight while caring for livestock in temperatures exceeding 45 degrees Celsius. She uploaded this video to Facebook, where it received over 50,000 views before her master discovered her activities and confiscated the device. This single video generated more international attention for her specific case than decades of activist reports about her family's enslavement. Social media platforms have become battlegrounds between enslaved people seeking help and masters attempting to maintain control over their human property. Enslaved individuals use Instagram and WhatsApp to share photographs of their living conditions with anti-slavery organizations operating internationally. These images provide concrete evidence of slavery that activists can present to international media outlets and human rights investigators. However, slave owners have adapted by monitoring their enslaved people's social media activity when they gain access to these platforms. Masters routinely check phones owned by enslaved people and punish them severely for any contact with outside organizations or posting content that exposes slavery conditions. Digital payment systems enable slave owners to conduct slavery-related transactions without creating paper trails that traditional banking systems would generate. Mobile money transfers through services like Orange Money and Wave allow slave owners to buy and sell enslaved people using digital transactions that authorities cannot easily trace. These payments appear in financial records as legitimate business transactions rather than human trafficking activities. Cryptocurrency transactions provide additional anonymity for slave owners who want to move profits from enslaved labor across international borders without detection by law enforcement agencies. Satellite imagery has revolutionized how researchers document slavery sites by providing visual evidence of exploitation that traditional investigation methods cannot capture. High-resolution satellite photographs reveal the stark differences between living conditions of enslaved people and their masters within the same compounds. Enslaved families live in temporary structures made from mud and metal scraps, while their masters occupy permanent buildings with electricity and running water. Google Earth imagery allows activists to identify potential slavery locations by analyzing settlement patterns and infrastructure development in areas where slavery is known to concentrate. GPS technology helps international investigators track the movement of enslaved people between different work sites and document the geographic scope of individual slavery operations. Investigators use GPS coordinates to map the locations where enslaved families work during different seasons as their masters move them between livestock grazing areas and agricultural sites. This geographic data helps establish the scale of individual slavery operations and provides evidence for legal proceedings against slave owners who control multiple locations. Enslaved people risk severe punishment when they use technology to communicate with activists or family members who have escaped slavery. Masters monitor phone calls and text messages sent by enslaved people who gain access to mobile devices through sympathetic neighbors or community members. Enslaved individuals must communicate using coded language that disguises their true situation while requesting assistance from outside organizations. Many enslaved people delete their communication history after each contact to avoid detection. Those sophisticated masters use data recovery software to retrieve deleted messages and identify unauthorized communications. Slave owners have developed increasingly sophisticated methods for controlling enslaved people's access to technology while maintaining surveillance over their digital activities. Some masters provide smartphones to enslaved people specifically to create the illusion of freedom while installing tracking applications that monitor their location and communications. Masters use these tracking systems to ensure enslaved people remain within designated areas and do not contact unauthorized individuals. Other owners confiscate phones during certain hours or restrict internet access to prevent enslaved people from accessing information about human rights or legal protections. International investigators employ advanced digital forensics tools to gather evidence of slavery from online sources, including social media posts, digital photographs, and electronic communications. These investigators use specialized software to analyze metadata from digital images that can reveal the exact locations where photographs were taken and the devices used to capture them. Digital evidence collection has become crucial for building legal cases against slave owners because traditional witness testimony faces credibility challenges in Mauritanian courts that favor slave owners over enslaved people. Artificial intelligence systems are being developed to identify potential slavery situations by analyzing patterns in satellite imagery, social media content, and economic data that might indicate forced labor operations. Machine learning algorithms can process vast amounts of visual data from satellite sources to identify settlements that match known characteristics of slavery sites. AI systems analyze social media posts for language patterns and keywords that might indicate slavery conditions, though these systems struggle with local languages and cultural contexts that affect how enslaved people describe their situations. The fundamental challenge with technology in anti-slavery efforts lies in the fact that the same tools that could liberate enslaved people are being weaponized by their masters to strengthen control systems. Advanced surveillance capabilities allow masters to monitor enslaved people more effectively than ever before, while digital payment systems help hide the economic benefits of slave labor from authorities. The technological arms race between activists and slave owners continues escalating as both sides develop more sophisticated methods for achieving their opposing objectives. Whether technology ultimately helps or hinders anti-slavery efforts depends entirely on who controls access to these tools and how they are implemented within existing power structures. Current trends suggest that slave owners are adapting faster to new technologies than activists or government authorities, using digital innovations to strengthen rather than weaken traditional slavery systems. Yet technology represents only one factor among many that shape the conditions enabling slavery to persist.